Alright, so before we get started, this isn't really a YouTube Sponsors Exposed, because I haven't really seen this product sponsored before, but I've just seen it all over YouTube in the emulation community, so I thought we would take a look. Now, we're going to be dealing with an emulator machine here, and a lot of people get questions about like the legality of game emulation, blah blah blah. I'm going to talk about that as far as it applies to the United States on my other channel, We Speak, and so there should be a link popping up now. If you're interested in hearing about the legality of a machine that does emulation and ROMs and all that, go to that channel. On this channel, we're just going to review the product as it stands. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. Let's find a way to carefully open this box. Obviously, they handled the box with much care, so I'm trying to do the same. And there it is, just a box in a box. They didn't bother with any bubble wrap or anything. Just here's your box inside of a box. The Ambernic RG351P handheld thing for emulation. I believe this thing comes preloaded. So let's go ahead and get this guy open.
America, fuck yeah! America, fuck yeah.
Okay, well, looks like a shell is on the top of this. Let's see what this is. Okay, so I guess this is protective for shipping, since they knew they weren't gonna put bubble wrap or anything on it. Come on, focus, you bastard. Your video out and your charging and your data is going to be through two different USB-Cs. And on the bottom, quality control sticker, which I believe is covering an SD card slot for additional storage, a reset button, stereo speakers, volume guy here, and on this side we got our power button. Overall, the build quality, I don't love the clickiness of these shoulder keys, but otherwise the build quality is actually really good. So let's power it on. Dun, dun, dun. Not the fastest boot up time, but it is the first go. Alright, so I found the version of Super Mario World for the Game Boy Advance, the Super Mario Advance 2, which is Super Mario World, the Super Nintendo port to the DS, or the Game Boy Advance, I'm sorry. We're gonna see how that runs. I'm gonna go ahead and add this one to my favorites for that little panel that said favorites. I mean, obviously you could do 3D rendering games. It's a lot better at the Super Nintendo. So it's been a few days for me. We went over my first impressions earlier, but now we have fast forwarded. I've been using this for a few days just to kind of see what my lingering impressions are. 1. 3D gaming, 3D rendering, especially on Dreamcast or N64, is all but unplayable. It's not an enjoyable experience. 2. The buttons are a little stiff when you're doing gaming more than like even an hour. So that gets uncomfortable. 3, things about my first impression that have reigned true are 2D games and some of the lower intensive 3D games like PlayStation 1 and arcade titles run amazingly. So let's go ahead and throw the verdict gauntlet on this guy. Is it as advertised? No, not really, because it's advertised that it has like thousands of amazing games that run great, and honestly, about half of the games are either weird bootleg knockoffs or 3D games that are not playable. But more importantly, is it worth it? Yes, absolutely, because the other half of the games on here, especially Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1, like Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that, run amazingly. The build quality is very satisfying. Like, I mean, for what you're paying for all this, it's worth it. And like I said at the start of the video, if you kind of want to know the legality of one of these, go over to my We Speak page. I've got a video about the legal issues of emulation, and you can watch that video there. So that's gonna do it for this edition of YouTube Sponsors Exposed, except not really YouTube sponsored, but products, should you get it, whatever this is. So until next time, I scheme, you scheme, we all scheme for ice cream. Bye!